Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to another Buddies, Banters, and actually it's probably Buddies, Booze and Banter. Oh wow, okay, let me redo that, guys. Okay, welcome to another Buddies, Booze and Banters, Unfiltered Conversations. I'm Rick.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Alex.
All right, well, I mean, trust me, I'm not drunk yet.
No.
So I don't know why. Maybe that's the problem. I should be drunk, and I would actually do it better.
Or maybe we should just mute you and then we could just...
But no, we already went through that. Okay, we weren't going to do that again,
Yeah, I almost returned everything.
Yeah, another. Hey, you send a new one, please. Well, anyhow, I know, Mike, you got a lot to discuss on some sports stuff, so I'm looking forward to hearing
Well,
that.
I think the key is, it's like we don't want politics on this one. We had enough the last go around.
Well, I got one issue that's related to politics, but not what you think.
All right, well then we're doing that at the end because we're gonna.
It involves social media.
Well, it's okay. We don't want to bore the people with politics all the time.
Oh no, this isn't boring. Trust me. 160 million people are involved, or 105 million, maybe. Oh man,
I'm still bored, so hopefully that we'll get energized.
We can talk about poop again.
Well, we could. But no, we're going to talk a little about sports now because it's like I'm going to give people an update because everybody knows, well, I'm big on sports and everything else is. Well, this first story is going to be a recap, not a recap. It's just going to be a continuation of the update of what we talked about earlier about Forney softball. My brother's softball team. It's because I told him how well he had done and everything else is, and the season started at the beginning of this year. Well, they've started district this week, and going into district, their record is 17-1-2, and they're ranked number 5 in the state for 5A.
So when sorry guys, I was actually getting bored, so I was on social media.
Oh my God!
Just teasing.
Turnabout's going to be fair play. But just to give you some insight on that, why they're ranked number 5 or whatever, is like before they played in a big tournament down in Brenham this past weekend.
That was in Houston area, right?
Yeah, the Houston area. But before that, the weekend before, they played in an Allen tournament, Allen, Texas tournament. Are you having? Do you need another drink?
Mm-mm.
Okay, you just wait until you talk about politics again.
No, I'm just trying to keep it enthusiastic.
Oh. Just let me tell the story or whatever.
Yeah, but you take a story this big and do it this long.
Because we need to stretch time out.
No, we don't.
Or I need time to talk or whatever.
No, you
just go blah, 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 blah.
You definitely need time to talk. So, I mean, but I love
You've already taken my story and just kind of pushed it to the back burner now.
No, I love talking about your brother. I mean, he's awesome. Trust me. And I love the accomplishments that he makes. But again, you draw things out. So
okay, well, that's just my style.
I'm just saying.
We're not as efficient as you are.
I'm not saying I'm efficient.
But
I just got a lot of information.
So going back to my story, and let's Alex, can we just mute his mic? That would be the best thing ever.
That completely eliminates the banter part.
Well, on that point,
that's part of our title.
I think we've had enough banter.
I haven't.
But okay, so they were in the Allen tournament, and in Texas. And high school sports, they have different classifications depending on the big schools or whatever. The top schools are in the 6A, and the next top are in the 5A. Well, my Forney's in the 5A. They're not in the top. They're not in the top big schools or whatever, but 5A.
What gets somebody in the top big schools?
Well, the number of people that go to their school.
Okay, so like Allen.
Allen has like
6,000,
6,000 people or whatever. But I think to go to 5A, it's like, I want to say 2,000, 2 or 2,500 or whatever. If you got in your school, you're in the 6A or whatever. Gotcha. But so when they were in the Allen tournament, they beat Allen and Waco Midway in the Allen tournament. And Allen, and both of those are in the 6A, the topper. Allen is ranked 8th in the state right now, and Waco Midway is 20th. So they started a momentum in Allen. So then they went to Brenham. They went 6-0 in the Brenham tournament. Their last 2 games, they beat Dripping Springs, which is in a 6A team, and they're ranked 10th in the state. And then the championship game, they played Lake Creek, which is a 5A team, and now they're currently ranked 10th. And Lake Creek is the defending 2-time champs. So they won it last year, and then they won it the year before or whatever. So they're 2-time. So it's like in the last 8 games, they've won 4 teams, beat 4 teams that are in the top 20 in the state of Texas. So, and I mean, again, right now, Forney is ranked 5th in the state for 5A girls softball, and district starts, and they don't have a strong district, so you know that they're going to win most of their district games. So kudos for all that, because my brother was big time concerned about the hitting because they've got a strong pitcher.
Yeah.
I think their defense is pretty good, but he said as the hitting was, and it sounds like they did pretty good on hitting, because in the 6 games in the tournament, they were 6-5, 9-2, 11-1, 11-0, 5-2, 6-5. So I mean, they're scoring runs.
Yeah. I mean, how much longer is the season?
We'll go till May, and then the playoffs start. So at the beginning of
That's something like, what, 3-4 months? Yeah.
yeah, because it's like
months,
district started, and district goes for 8 weeks. I think it's 8 weeks, and then you'll start into the playoffs. So Forney keeps this up, and you hope that they keep improving, that they might make it a long run and maybe even make it back to state.
I wish they do. I mean, I wish really. I mean, it's obviously that's what Pat and all what he does, and he deserves that. That's for sure.
Yes.
So I'm excited for him though. That's for sure.
So so kudos for Forney. They're starting well.
I know I'm supposed to see him on Sunday, so I'll definitely give him kudos
Sunday.
for that birthday thing.
That's Saturday.
No, it says I thought it was Sunday.
Saturday.
Oh well,
Mute his mic. He's had enough to drink.
I better look at my calendar to make sure I could do it then.
So, all right, kudos for the Forney Yellow Jackets. Mm-hmm. Wait, no, the Yellow Jackets? Yeah, Yellow Jackets.
Yeah. Or Jackrabbits. The
Jackrabbits.
Okay, now who's had too much to drink?
It's like I said that, and it's like I know it didn't sound right.
Yeah, you had too much to drink, and we were just watching the 2018 one here.
I know. So, and then another sports thing is that this is the last March Madness is coming up in basketball.
NCAA.
And this is the last week before conference tournament start, and then they do the selection. And my school is Texas Tech. I went to Texas Tech, and we're part of the Big 12. And right now, in their projection of the seeds, Texas Tech is right now perceived to get an 8th seed in the tournament. And what's so impressive about the Big 12, because Big 12 has been a powerhouse in basketball for probably about the last 5 years. I mean, what was it? The defending champ is UConn, but before that, Kansas won, which was a Big 12 team. Baylor won the year before that, which is a Big 12 team. And then you had COVID. But then before COVID, Texas Tech played Virginia in the finals, should have won, lost in overtime. They blew it. But Tech could have won it or whatever. So you could have had 3 Big 12 teams win in a row. But what's so impressive is like right now there's 14 teams in the Big 12. They're projecting 9 of the 14 teams to get a bid to the NCAA for men's basketball. That is impressive.
Yeah. Well, I know they changed a lot of that up in the last couple of years too, and how they do that whole process.
And so they got 14 teams, and so I mean it's very impressive. And then next year, well, you got Texas and Oklahoma. They're going to go to the SEC, but then we're going to get 4 schools from the Pac-12. Arizona is right now in the top 10 in basketball. Or I take that back; they might be number 5. And then you got Utah, Colorado, Arizona State. And also in the Big 12, the number one team right now is Houston, and Houston's in the Big 12. So kudos for Big 12. Hopefully we can do well.
Well, let's
go
hope this
Texas
tournament.
Tech.
I mean, it's obviously there's millions and millions of dollars on the line here. So, I mean, the bets that be going on, that's for sure.
Yes, they will. And I mean, plus March Madness.
Probably $1 billion, probably.
I'll probably be in Vegas.
Yeah.
But
For
it's
the
like
Final Four.
March Madness is always big because it's like the first weekend of the tournament is all the big thing is who's going to get upset because there's always some huge upsets.
Well, that's always the interesting thing about the March Madness is because the team may be ranked number one or something like that, but they could get upset as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny to see that, to be honest with you. I mean,
because everybody
pisses all the alumni
because
off,
it's
but-
like everybody wants to see the underdog win, and it's like the first weekend it is it's like to see who are the underdogs get beat, who are going to win or whatever, and then it's just upset, and then the second week is to see that those Cinderella teams can make it to the Final Four, and most of the times they don't, but there's once or twice they have been, and then usually in the finals. I mean, the final week or whatever, the Final Four, usually kind of teams that are probably in the top four and whatever. So, but it is a great time. And everybody does a basketball pool
yeah.
that it's just like every company probably does something like that.
Yeah, I'm not really so much into the NCAA versus the NBA, but I mean, I know it's a big business. There's no doubt about it. I mean, whether it should be a big business or not is another argument for another day. But it's definitely interesting and fantastically, wildly incredible how much alumni are so, including yourself, Texas Tech and all that, just zoomed into it, and the absolute loyalty is kind of interesting too.
And I don't think there's going to be a round in Dallas here this year. I think that there was last year, but I don't think there is this year. But the women's, I don't get into the women's as much, except Texas Tech did win the total back in, 2011 or something like that. Texas Tech used to have a great women's basketball team. It's not been so great lately or whatever, but it's just it's just a fun time, and I'm looking forward to it. So this is the last week to jockey, and then the tournaments, and then it will be the brackets come out, and we'll see what happens.
Nice. Something for you more to talk about.
What?
Going forward as we progress in March Madness, you can talk a little bit more about that.
I can.
And really where you are and your thought process and
hopefully Texas Tech will go pretty far.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I wish that for you. I really wish that for you.
Alex, just mute his.
Well, wait a minute. But before he mutes me, what else you got?
Well, everybody knows I'm an NCIS fan.
Yes. Actually, I kind of find this very interesting, to be honest with you, what you're about to talk about.
So it's like I said, I'm all with the original and everything else is, but I watch the other ones too or whatever. But on the original, I think everybody knows Tony and Ziva.
My two favorite characters.
The characters that were on there where, Ziva was projected to be dead and then had a baby.
She portrayed a agent from Mossad.
Yes.
So
she supposedly her character was killed and had a baby, and then Tony found out he was the father, and then Tony as a way for Tony to leave the show or whatever, and all this other stuff is. And
because
then
he had like Bull, that other show that he was doing.
and then Ziva ultimately didn't die, but she was running, and then she ultimately came back.
It was like a soap opera. Let's bring it back to life.
It is totally. Well, now it's like there is going to be a Tony and Ziva show that comes out. They have basically said that it's going to come out. It's going to be on Paramount Plus,
which means no bars hold because they don't go by the FTC standards of like no nudity, no cursing, all that.
But I would suspect it would also show up on CBS sometime too or whatever.
Well, yeah, maybe even 5 or 6 years from now when actually all the other standards go down the drain.
But they basically agreed to so far a 10-episode series. Both the actors, Tony and Ziva, and it's like Michael Weatherly and Corda de Pablo, they're going to be executive producers.
Oh, so they're controlling it.
Yeah.
The sexual innuendos that are going to fly, I love it.
But, I can just tell, because as big of a show as NCIS is and as big as those characters
now,
were.
is it going to be based upon similarities?
I'm still trying to get some of the information out. There's been no name of the series yet. I mean, somebody said it could be NCIS Europe, but
I can see that.
But supposedly it's going to be something where somebody is going to be after them, and they're going to have to go into hide and go into different spots or whatever. So it's like I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out.
I can see him based in London because obviously most people don't realize actually. Well, when I was living in London at the time, the U.S. Navy actually had a station downtown across from the U.S. Embassy. It was called NAVAX. You know, my parents actually worked there at one point. You know, so I mean, an NCIS was actually in that building, so I can see that happening.
So I mean, like I mean, just being two popular characters, and it's just like I can see. I mean, it's like I said, this is just the beginning, the 10 series or whatever episode series, but I expect it could be expanded because I just could see this growing.
What I see lately, especially if there's like a huge fan base that is actually clamoring to it, even before it's actually premiered, they have the tendency of renewing another season. I mean, there's one that I think is actually on CBS. It's called The Traveler, and it's one of the former stars on One of Us or whatever it was. They just did their premiere. I think it was last week or something like that. They've already signed for another 2 seasons. I mean, so it does happen if you've got a great series for sure.
No, it does. And I mean, you just don't know what the agreements are with the actors or whatever.
I may actually buy, Paramount Plus if they actually, continue on that way because I actually did it for a trial period of 7 days and it sucked. And I really did it just for probably the Grammys. But I mean, then the actual connectivity was horrible versus all the other actual streamings and all that. So, I mean, but I would actually do that for them because those are my 2 favorite characters.
So I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. I expect it's going to be a huge success, and I expect it to go along.
I think you're right.
Ways.
But I mean, those were 2 of the favorites. And not just because they're great actors, first of all, but I mean, just the banter that they did amongst each other. I mean,
because great. I mean, you look at it, it's like, okay, because I mean, it's been on TV for 21, 22 years now. And it's also, you can see reruns on it on different cable stations or whatever.
Of course you can.
And it's just like, you go back and now you look back. And so it's like the first 2 years were kind of like the beginning year where they were trying to figure stuff out. And then in year 3, they killed one of the characters, and then Ziva came, and then the character.
I did like the one they killed off too, though. She was always just doing this to
Tony.
Tony, I loved it.
Yeah,
but they had a sexual tension as well.
They did, but not like Ziva.
Oh no, I mean that was like pure. That was the other one.
But supposedly and I can't remember her. Kate her name was Kate. She wanted to get off the series because it was just like. Very time consuming, a lot, and everything else. And
so they killed her off with a shot to the forehead.
So they killed her off, and then that's when Ziva came on, and then it's like that's when I think NCIS just took off. It was like the #1 show for the longest or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that it's a good show. I mean, I think it was again. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I think it was definitely great to watch it when it was. And I don't really watch a lot of network TV, so because I don't really have it anymore. But I mean, I would definitely do a streaming one with those 2 characters for sure. But there's also something else that I talked to you about earlier today, and that was actually a prequel to NCIS, and that's actually where they're looking at what is Mark Harmon's character name?
Gibbs.
They're looking at I guess when he started out at the NCIS. And a younger version of him. So I mean, it'd be interesting to see exactly how that goes. And I know that you were saying did they already actually establish it? But I think they've actually signed the actual lead character.
Well, cool. I'll be looking forward to that too.
Yeah. So.
But it'll be interesting because you said they have an actor for him.
They do. And actually, I mean, I could pull it up, but I mean, he's actually somebody who's decently known too. A good-looking guy too.
Well, because in the NCIS TV show or whatever, whenever Mark Harmon or whatever, the Gibbs or whatever, did a flashback into the past, and they one of Mark Harmon's son played him in the early days.
Yeah, it's definitely not his son. I can show you that. Give me a second. I'm pulling that up right now. Keep talking.
Keep talking.
Yep.
But it's like, hopefully he's as good looking as Mark Harmon is, because Mark Harmon is a very great looking guy. When he was younger, it was just like, oh my God. And then as time as people aged, he has aged really well. And I miss not having Mark Harmon not on the show now.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I'm hoping he will come back soon for something because they need him.
Well, I mean, I'd be surprised if he didn't make whatever Flash Forge or something along those lines. This is the actual individual who's actually been signed for.
Oh, cool.
His name is actually what is it? Sorry, give me a second.
He's good looking.
Damn it! Keep talking.
Okay, and Mark Harmon used to played sports. He was the quarterback for UCLA.
I did not know that in college. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was a quarterback. He was going to go into sports and all that stuff.
It's funny because this article here does talk about the flashback by the actor's real life son, Sean Harmon. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
He's 72 years old.
Yeah.
Damn, I thought he was younger than you.
Fuck you. Okay, if you need to edit it out, don't. Because
you don't need to edit that out
because he deserves it or whatever.
I love it. Don't edit that one out
but
at
I
all.
mean, you look at Mark Harmon was brought in. His early 50s when he started.
Austin Stoll is his name.
Okay,
and that's the actual individual. He's best known for starring opposite Lucy Hale in the 2021 romantic comedy The Hating Game, which I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
He also starred in the Dolphin Tale movies as a U-2 spy pilot, Francis Gary Powers, and Steven Spielberg's The Bridge of Spies. He was also on TV opposite George Clooney, Chris Abbott, Hugh Larry in the Hulu's limited series Catch-22 and the police drama Public Morals.
Now, is this supposed to be a Paramount Plus too?
I would imagine so, just simply because of it's NCIS related, and that's really their actual franchise.
Well, but all the other NCIS have been on CBS.
Well, it's Paramount owns CBS.
I know, but I'm talking.
It's the same company.
I know, but it's like that's streaming, where it's just like the others have been on CBS, the network, because you had NCIS, you had NCIS LA,
yeah,
you had New Orleans, you had Hawaii, and then I think this season they started Sydney, and I haven't seen anything or watched anything on the Sydney one.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's actually Paramount. I would assume that it is Paramount Plus as well, because they mentioned the actual spinoff one that we're talking about.
Okay,
Diva and Michael Weatherly and Coda DePaulo. So I would assume so.
but I can expect if they're going to be huge on Paramount Plus, I could see them actually put him back on the main network, or at least show some of the shows.
Well, I think it just depends on the actual content. It depends on the writers, because actually the writers have changed over the years for sure, no doubt. So,
yeah.
So what else you got?
That's it for me.
Okay. Well, my turn? No, just kidding.
Please mute him.
No, don't
Alex, mute him. Mute him.
Well,
We don't want any politics.
Actually,
Rick invites me to the pub a lot, man. I like that.
there you go.
Oh God.
I don't bite the hand that feeds, man.
There you go. Well, I
Oh
do.
my God.
Clearly, I do. But
We do.
but no, this is an interesting one, because we talked about a couple of podcasts ago, and then also the last one specifically about artificial intelligence. And I'm really going to harp on this one. But the one that I want to really
Mute.
really what I want to talk about is, I think I made the comment specifically about a small group of white men, really is what it comes down to, but individuals who want to control AI. And most people don't realize that the AI, and I think it's called Open AI, initially the company was started as a nonprofit, in order to basically give it to the world, which really sounds like a good theory and the whole process of it. One of the actual initial investors was Elon Musk.
Oh, enough said.
And he had, he committed he committed to give over $1 billion, because he basically said that, to sustain this as we continue to advance and as it grows, you're going to require billions of dollars on an annual basis. And to some point, he's probably correct. At some stage, though, they actually had a little spinoff of that company, and actually had a for-profit one. And apparently, Elon said that, oh, well, you're going against the actual charter of what we were supposed to do, and he left the company at that particular time. Well, yesterday or 2 days ago, he's now suing them because they didn't follow through on what they actually said. And, if in fact his thought process was correct, meaning he committed to it, they changed the whole process of, not being just nonprofit, it makes sense. I actually admire him for that. Well, lo and behold,
I figured that was going to come.
they decided like, we're going to one up you, asshole. So OpenAI said, yeah, not the case. So after he sued them in court, they decided today that they were going to release his emails. And if there's anybody in technology, they should realize everything's kept forever. And I don't know what he was thinking. And it's just interesting. And to be honest,
They don't think.
this is just came out today. This is like fresh off the press in regards to, because there's like, wake the fuck up, dude. Back up. This is not the case here. And I want to kind of like parts of it is redacted because there's obviously some proprietary information, stuff like that. But he argues that the company stood virtually no chance of building a successful generative AI platform by raising cash alone, and the company needed to find an alternative source. In November of 2015, an email to CEO at the time, Sam Altman, it was that whole controversy where he was actually canned by the board and they brought him back days later and all that. Musk, who was one of the co-founders, said the company needed to raise more than $100 million to avoid sounding hopeless. And again, he had committed $1 billion already. He suggested $1 billion funding commitment and promised that he would cover whatever needed to be raised. Okay, that's a good investor, And Musk in 2018, February, told the executives that the only path forward for OpenAI was for Tesla, his electric company, to buy it. The company, of course, refused, and that's when actually Musk left. So he actually left in 2018. He emailed Altman in December 2018 and other executives that OpenAI would not be relevant without a dramatic change in executive and resources. And then, of course, OpenAI came out today and says, like, bottom line is he just wanted to control it. And I've said it from day one, all these individuals who just are like at his feet, admiring him. And first of all, he doesn't create anything. He does have he's like a Donald Trump. He has like, the ability to come up with an idea and try to run with it, but everybody else doesn't work.
Whoa. Trump comes up with ideas?
He comes up with good marketing ideas. We got to give him credit where it's due.
Well, marketing, but not ideas.
Well, again, these are ideas that he knows how to market. Okay. I mean, he hasn't created anything whatsoever.
All right,
but he wanted to control.
I needed a drink on that one.
He wanted to control artificial intelligence, and I said that several podcasts back is like these are the individuals. I mean, first of all, he's a racist. And everything that he believes in. I mean, first of all, he's a flip flopper as well when it comes to politics. I mean, and these individuals who just worship him are just ignorant. They don't realize that he is manipulating their minds. And just because he actually has this technology, first of all, he's no longer the richest man in the world. Bezos just pushed his ass out.
Sorry about that.
I know, right? I love that. And now naturally there's a seesaw effect because they constantly go back and forth in regards to whether it was Bill Gates or it was like the Arnault over in France with the.
God, I wish it was my name up there, going up there.
Well, who the hell can do anything with $200 billion? And the interesting thing about it is apparently they're, Bezos buying shitloads of stuff, and he's still the richest guy in the world, But and that's another controversy we'll talk about for another day, where apparently there's millions and millions of actual undeveloped land that these billionaires are actually collecting worldwide right now, and there's kind of some conspiracy theories exactly why they're doing that. So apparently at this time, I know Bill Gates is actually the owner of the most acreage across in the entire world. Which is kind of interesting.
Cool.
So, but I just thought it was interesting to bring up about how Elon is somebody who tries to project himself as the savior of everything. And the only way it's going to survive was that if Tesla takes over. First of all, Tesla wasn't where it is then to where it is today in regards to the value and just basically selling what they did. They're doing a great job selling. There's no doubt about it. I just think it's just like, where he thinks he should be in control. It's always interesting. So, and that was actually an add-on. So I actually didn't do that my research on that one. So
okay.
I just thought it was interesting because it just popped up on one of my feeds. But we're going to stick on some social media stuff. I don't know if everybody realizes that tomorrow, which happens to be the 7th of March, a subcommittee.
It usually follows after the 6th.
You can count.
I can.
I'm impressed. Nice. In Congress, we actually have senators, bipartisan in one of the committees, not a subcommittee. This is a major committee. And I know there's been a huge push in regards to banning TikTok. in the United States.
Ooh, I think I've heard a little bit about this.
And it roared itself up, maybe almost a year ago, to the point where Biden actually banned it from being on any of the actual government devices. So obviously, you had a phone, or you had a computer, or you had an iPad, or any type of devices that was provided to you by the government. The app TikTok could not be on that, and simply because it's actually associated, or there's a percentage of the company that is actually owned by the Chinese.
Yeah, government.
Well, they say government, maybe not government. I mean, there are so many loopholes and so many false walls and
Let's just say government
masking over in China. We have no clue, which is even worse. It's even worse than saying is because all that clandestine bullshit. So, so basically, there is an out. There is an out.
Okay.
First of all, they do anticipate that the committee is going to approve it because it's bipartisan. I mean, there's not just the Republicans saying this; it's bipartisan. But it's actually, and it really kind of hands the power of banning things in regards to the social media and all that to the president of the United States. It's not necessarily controlled by Congress. So the bill also would broaden the scope of the president's power to ban other foreign adversaries-controlled apps from Iran, China, North Korea, and Russia. Love that, right? I mean, because most of those are snooping. They're trying to get our data. They're trying to figure out, what we're doing and how to manipulate us and our lives. ByteDance is actually the one who actually has a percentage of ownership inside of TikTok. Once and if this particular ban law goes into place, and it'd be also curious to see if it actually gets in. I think it will pass in the House as well. But then again, will Biden sign it? It's another situation. So there's obviously a process that we go through. But if in fact it gets signed into law by Biden, ByteDance would actually have 5 months after the law was signed to divest 100% of their stake in TikTok. Now, TikTok obviously has several investors. I mean, there's quite a few Americans who are also investors too, companies and things of that sort. So, and ByteDance is a Chinese company, supposedly with ties to the actual Chinese government and all that. And of course, the CEO, as we all know, who got drilled for stupid questions from Cotton, Senator Cotton, and one of the subcommittees and all that. He's actually a Singaporean who actually is married to an American citizen, and his kids are American citizens and all that. So again, there's it's muddy waters. There's no doubt about it. There's a ton of muddy waters. Now, in a statement, TikTok called it an outright ban of TikTok, no matter how much the authors tried to disguise it. In a statement, TikTok called it an outright ban, and the legislation will trample on the First Amendment rights of 170 million Americans and deprive 5 million small businesses of a platform they rely on to grow and create businesses. Now, obviously, you're on TikTok, I'm on TikTok, things of that sort. And really, there has been a significant push on TikTok Shop to be competitive to Amazon and Timo and all those things out there as well. And they're doing a very good job on it. And what the reason they've done so well on that is because the promoters, the individuals who are actually pushing these particular products or have their own shops, they get a higher percentage of the actual take than say on Amazon as an influencer, things of that sort. So it's been really good. But again, banning a widely popular social media, and it is. TikTok is huge.
It is
incredibly huge, and obviously there's some that are used for not good things, and there's some funny stuff out there. I mean, there's good promotions on businesses, things of that sort. So, but to do that in an election year, it could be proven difficult because TikTok has around 103 million users just in the United States, alone. Now, keep in mind we have 360 million people in our country, so a third or so are individuals who actually have an account and use it. Now, we actually have 170 million who are interacting with it in the United States. So there's actually more there. In Biden's reelection campaign, just signed up for TikTok. So it's going to be very interesting. It's like, how is this going to go well? Now, I do find there's some hypocrisy there where he signed into the law where it basically banned any actual government application or computer systems and all that not to have TikTok. But I mean, but your reelection campaign signed up for it. Now it'd be interesting to see if Trump signs up for it as well.
We are now starting to see more commercials on TikTok saying, "Oh, my business is going so well because I'm doing this on TikTok." Oh, we can't get rid of TikTok because I couldn't be able to do this.
Well, the thing about it is TikTok has allowed smaller businesses, which every politician in the United States is basically says is the backbone of the United States on business side of things. You know, we have millions and millions of small businesses. I'm a small business owner as well. So millions of those. These are actually, TikTok is an opportunity for them to do advertising low cost versus Facebook ads are expensive. Instagram ads are expensive. So all these other social media platforms out there are expensive. You can go out there and if you actually have a decent following or you have a way to actually understand the algorithms associated with TikTok, you can actually have limited followers. But if you do it live, you can get 10,000 orders within that live a couple hours. And that does really make or break some of these small businesses out there. And I think they're absolutely right that it's going to be detrimental to a lot of small businesses. And you can sit on a committee, cushion job with all the benefits you have as a senator and what have you, and basically tout that this needs to happen, this needs to happen. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, there needs to be some sort of, regulations and some kind of, barriers to ensure that China isn't getting our data. China is not manipulating certain things because there does. Because there's no doubt there's nefarious aspects of the China government that they're trying to do. I get it.
But the key is there's something that's probably there. We probably don't know it all, or we will never get to it. But there's something that's scary out there that hopefully we never experience or not.
It's called those hackers in Russia.
Well, because I mean, you look at it. What was it? 2 weeks ago, AT&T was out.
Well, AT&T had the largest actual outage.
The outage for a while or whatever, and it affected a bunch of people.
And yesterday we had Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, I was going to say this Facebook and Instagram this week. So it's just like, it looks like it's the start of people trying something that could, because I expect between now and election time, there's going to be something big that's going to happen.
I know there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that are basically saying, are you surprised that on Super Tuesday that Instagram and Facebook went down for those particular hours? I mean, I was like, well, first of all, there's not really.
There's nothing you can do. It's like you're going to go vote or not.
It just means that you can't see what they're trying to actually push on you.
Yes.
I mean, because you don't vote on Facebook, you don't vote on Instagram. So
and a lot of people vote early anyway,
which they should.
But I'm just with technology, with what's happening. I mean, AT&T and now Instagram and Facebook. It's just like I'm expecting there's going to be more that's going to happen between now and November.
Yeah, I just think that there's going to be a. And again, I don't know who will win out of the actual wash because it's a bipartisan. I just think there's going to be a backlash from the American citizens who are utilizing it for everyday life or connecting or making money. I mean, there are a lot of influencers, a lot of creators on that particular app that are they're supplementing their income. They've made it as a career. They're being very successful. They're taking control of their lives. And basically the government wants to shut that down. I do understand ramifications associated to a foreign adversary attempting to actually infiltrate our government, infiltrate our systems, our technologies, and gather proprietary information, things of that sort. Banning an app across the board where the data, first of all, has been actually moved to a secure place associated to the United States already. Any data associated specifically to the United States citizens has already been moved to a secure place, and multiple third parties have verified that. I just think that it's a political statement, it's a political tagline, and it's a good way to actually kind of create adversity during an election year.
Well, I mean, in one aspect is, and I'm just thinking outside the box or whatever. Okay, so if you're saying the president could shut it down. Mm-hmm. Biden's not going to shut it down because there would be so much backlash and all that stuff.
But get my point? The point is, this is where I don't know exactly where it's going to play out. It's been pushed by Republicans, even though it's actually a chairman associated to the actual committee who's a Democrat. If it lands up in Biden's lap and he's not signing it, the Republicans are going to hit him on it. If he signs it, everybody else is going to hit him on it.
Right.
So I mean, it's a lose-lose situation specifically for him. And that's why I believe that it's being brought up. They tried earlier in this year, and they tried obviously in 2023 to try to bring it to the forefront to use as a political stunt. I think that's the exact same thing.
The only way it's going to get to Biden's desk is if you get Democrats to buy on it too.
Well, again, it's a bipartisan in the Senate right now.
Okay.
There are 17 individual co-sponsors of this.
But then the House isn't bipartisan.
Yeah, but most of those are actually extremists who believe China is the enemy. So yeah, they're gonna actually.
Marjorie thinks.
Yes. So she likes
China?
Russia. She likes Russia, not China.
Okay. All right.
She doesn't. Because they don't have the same eyes or like her or something like that. That's what it is. And they have their skin color and all that. So
Alex, wake up.
I'm awake.
Oh, please. This conversation has put you to sleep.
I'm just not really that big into politics, man.
Well, first of all, it's not politics; it's social media.
Oh, that's what I meant. That's what I said. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
I think you're still waking up.
I live and breathe social media.
Exactly. Well, not always, because I tag you on kind of things, and you actually. I'm not gonna.
Well, fortunately, I don't work on Facebook. So when the Facebook thing went down, I was.
Yeah,
I didn't
didn't even notice it either.
Didn't even
I
notice.
actually, I did.
I
noticed
had to log
Instagram.
back in, but I didn't
Well,
realize
I never had
it
to do
until
that.
afterwards.
I noticed Instagram. I noticed Instagram.
Yeah, it was fine.
But the interesting about it is most people don't realize there was multiple websites. Some were actual, businesses for commercials, finance and stuff like that. Amazon, tons of websites yesterday went down.
But I'm going to say it's the beginning. It's
totally.
beginning. It's going to be more that happens between now and November.
My point being is like instead of wasting tax dollars banning something, spend tax dollars on actually building infrastructures to protect us. Put the firewalls in place. Make sure that you actually hire the individuals who actually know what they're doing to actually preclude these hackers.
But that costs money, and you don't get anything out of it.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead.
You don't get anything out. It does not. You do not show anything for it. It only prevents stuff. But then preventing stuff.
With all due respect, I mean them flying off of these exotic places to do a congressional tour and to actually do trade and all that doesn't get a goddamn thing either. I mean,
I agree.
Cancel that shit out.
But that ain't going to happen because that's their.
They need to put our tax dollars where they belong, and that's not obviously in trying to ban something versus put something in infrastructure wise. When you have 170 million Americans who utilize that in some fashion or form, some of them actually creating good businesses that are being taxed, giving more tax dollars to the government revenue, which is what we really need to do to bring down the deficit to make sure that we actually have the trade gap.
So you mean we wouldn't be able to see the twins dancing?
Nothing. It would.
When I say the twins, the one guy that acts like he's a twin that does the dancing.
Oh yeah, he does that little metamorphosis thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's in like Brazil or something like that. Yeah. You won't see that.
Oh,
you won't see. You won't see any. Anything.
I mean, he's one person, but he does videos where it looks like he's twins.
He does a damn good job,
and they kind of dance the same or whatever, and all that stuff is. I mean, he does a great job.
Yeah, I mean it. And if I
got
ever
a
met
great
him,
hot body too.
If I ever met him, I would actually ask him, "How do you do that bleed?" Because I mean, literally, it looks flawless. And even the background settings are not something that you can actually manipulate so well. So,
but that's on TikTok, so that means that would have to go away too. Oh my god!
Well, it won't go away. It just go away for us.
Okay.
Because obviously that country is not banning it.
No.
But all these, the interesting thing about I don't know what generation are we on kids now? Is it like Z or X or whatever? But there are so many those individuals who create a business on this. That's their career. So how many people are you going to put out in unemployment now out of work?
They won't
Millions.
do that. They will not do that
Millions.
until till after the election.
Even still, what you do after elections, same thing. But anyhow, so
That's another story.
Another story. So let's kind of end up something. This is actually going to kind of involve Alex a little bit because I know he loves to visit Vegas a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
Are we going?
Well,
Sorry. Never mind.
after this, I may never go.
What? What are you about to share with me?
Okay, so a gentleman who
You mean
actually
we got something else?
Yeah, one more.
All right.
A California gentleman who was actually visiting Vegas and staying at the Venetian.
And I like the Venetian.
He found a scorpion hanging from his underwear after waking up to a feeling of someone stabbing me in my private area.
Allegedly.
Oh no, it was there. I mean, he says that he was stung by a scorpion on his testicles while sleeping at the posh Venetian in Las Vegas.
What was her name?
His name?
No, her name.
Yeah, well, it could be still his name. But I mean, I just felt like somebody was stabbing me in my private area. His name is Michael Farchi. And this was on December 26th of last year. It was like a sharp knife or glass. I went to the restroom and saw a scorpion hanging on my underwear. When you check into a hotel, you expect to be safe, his lawyer said. That's the key point. The lawyer's involved already. Scorpions are generally active at night, according to the Mayo Clinic, and they don't usually sting unless provoked. So maybe he was doing something down there that he should have been doing, maybe, who knows, or attacked. So most things obviously occur when they have accidentally grabbed or stepped on or brushed against the bodies. It is native to Nevada, and there are 25 different species types of the scorpion in Nevada. My only advice to you is, Alex, check your bed before you can.
I actually, call it my scorpion.
No, it's like
even if you're drunk.
The underwear, because you said it was the underwear, not the bed.
But I guarantee you it's in the bed, and that's why I went to it. I mean, it was looking for something. It was looking for something. So, but bottom line is, like, when you're drunk, you still need to pull down the covers and make sure there's no scorpions and they're going to bite your...
Or whoever what you brought to the bed be in the first place. That's where I think it was.
Bottom line is, I guarantee a story like this, whether there's some validity to it or whether he's just out to sue somebody, I ain't going to check my bed before, especially in Vegas. I mean, I lived in Arizona as a kid, and there were scorpions all over that place too. So they scared the hell out of me because, I mean, I can tolerate pain, but not that type of pain. So.
Yeah.
And obviously, the individuals who are more susceptible to actually, issues long term on this is younger and older. So you don't want to get stung. You're older.
Fuck you.
I just thought it was an interesting story, especially since you like Vegas. So
I love Vegas.
yeah, well, check your bed.
Oh, please.
Check your bed.
One story out of whatever.
I've stayed at some
guys
really
just
shady
try to-
hotels. So
This
I-
is the Venetian, guys. This is not like a shabby old motel off the.
Oh,
off
I
the
know.
street.
Yeah, but it's an old
And so it's like-
casino.
What?
The Venetian.
Is old?
Yeah, by comparison to
Of
like the
what?
Fontainebleau.
I mean, first of all, they
Resorts
changed. Well,
World.
Fontainebleau is a completely different thing. I mean, that's $1 billion operation. So, I mean, but still, the Venetian's not no bottom player here.
No, the Venetian's nice. I have a goal to stay at the Wynn. I've never stayed at the Wynn. I've wanted to.
He got fired, didn't he, by his own board?
Yeah, he did.
I love it.
Yeah, and he's got his name on the building still.
I know, it's like kind of sad. I mean, get fired from your own company when your name's on the actual marquee out there.
I'd be like, my name's on the
It's like,
freaking
oh
board.
shit. I mean, you definitely had to do something bad there, that's for sure. But anyhow, well, we do appreciate you spending some time with us. We have been a little bit longer than we anticipated today, but thanks for spending some time with us at Buddies, Booze and Banter's Unfiltered Conversations. I'm Rick.
Michael.
And I'm Alex.
See you later.
All right. We'll see you later. Bye.
We'll see you later.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the Mavs Stars.
Ooh, and Stars.
Hey, did you guys know that Michael has season tickets to the Mavericks and the Stars?
Yes. Waiting to hear from some people.
Yeah, waiting to hear from. Contact us now for those seats. Did you put Rick on the spreadsheet for this last game?
What last game?
The game that you guys went to.
No, I'm always like last
That wasn't the
minute.
last game.
I'm a last minute thought. Always.
Sunday, but I went last night.
Oh,
But just
you
for the
went last night?
record,
Okay.
I went there last
even
night.
though he did ask others before he asked me on Sunday, I still went.
Nice.
I asked one other.
Rick's so great. You're missing my killer audio.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, wow.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.